Jerry Moran from Kansas.
So nice, or I know I would have no audience as the last speaker this morning. I guess we started with a Kansan, we'll end with a Kansan. But I'm delighted to be back with you. I appreciate very much the relationship. President Clinton ruined the word relationship around here. I'm very pleased about the friendship that we have developed with the community and independent pharmacists, not only in Kansas but across the country. I'm now in my 7th term in Congress, so nearly 14 years. I've been in Washington, D.C., and there's no longer any badge of honor that comes with that. That's usually a negative. But I came to Congress to do some things that are still important to me. And at the forefront of those goals is what do we do to make certain that particularly rural America is around for a while longer. That our kids and grandkids have the opportunity to raise their families in the places that many of us call home. And while my perspective is rural, one of the things I have discovered as Anthony Weiner and I have become the primary co-sponsors of pharmacy legislation is that the issues that we face in small rural communities across the country are so similar to the issues that folks in the center of cities, in urban areas face in regard to pharmacy. It's about the neighborhood in which we live. And we want that neighborhood to be a place in which good things happen and that there's a future. And I tell my colleagues in Washington that where I come from, economic development can often be whether or not there's a grocery store in town. And they look at you and with just kind of baffled expression, like, how can that be an issue? But so many of the things that we face revolve around what I would call the basics. That there's a grocery store in town, that the pharmacy is there, that the hospital doors remain open, that there's a physician. And one of the things I learned early on, as I came to Congress, is that if you want a future of communities, of neighborhoods across the country, make sure that we're able to provide the basics. And the people will stay, and their kids will return. And pharmacy is one of those things that determine whether or not there's a neighborhood, whether or not there's a community. My parents live in my hometown, population 1,900. And my dad, I've told you this before, hates going to the doctor. If you go to the doctor, they will tell you something is wrong with you. He doesn't want to know that. But he wanders down to drink coffee every day at the drugstore, where Keith Unrein will make sure that if my dad needs to see the doctor, he'll be told, Ray, it's time for you to go see Dr. Sanchez. He will put the blood pressure cuff on my dad from time to time to make sure that he's okay. And that's the kind of neighborhood, that's the kind of community that we want to preserve. And community pharmacy plays such a significant role in that community, in that business, in that sense of neighborhood. And beyond that, community pharmacists save people's lives. Healthcare has changed so much over the years. It used to be, when you went to see a doctor, you were admitted to the hospital. Today, when you go see a doctor, more likely than not, you're going to be given a prescription that changes your life. Makes life a little bit better, or it may extend your life for years. It can be a small thing, it can be a major thing. And we need to make certain that the people who know how to provide that advice, that suggestion, we need to make certain that people in Washington understand that you are a profession. It's not just a matter of putting a product on the counter and collecting for that product. It's about the advice, the care, the compassion that a pharmacist provides their patients. And so, you people call, just was reminded of this morning in a conversation, you call the people who walk in your door patients. That says something about the way you look at the person who you are serving. And so we can talk about legislation. My colleagues have done that. One thing I would tell you, you have done a great job of making your case to new members of Congress. As I've watched, this is the 5th year in which I've stood on these steps with you, and as I've watched who's appeared here this morning, there's a lot of new faces. That tells me you're doing your job at home. They come to Congress and they're aware and interested in trying to help solve the challenges that community pharmacy faces. Marion Barry and I, in trying to take this a step forward, started the Pharmacy Coalition. I co-chair the Rural Healthcare Coalition, trying to make sure that we keep hospitals, doors open, physicians in communities, and we decided there was a niche, a gap that was not yet filled with what we were doing. And so help us, as you make your visits to your members of Congress, remind them that there's a caucus here that's designed to educate them and educate our colleagues about issues that are important to you. and help us make certain that that coalition advocates in a broad-based sense with Republicans and Democrats lined up behind issues that change the way that you are being forced to do business. And let me say that while I'm here talking mostly to pharmacists, I've never seen my role as necessarily to be an advocate for pharmacists. I care about you, but the reason I care about you is because I care about the people you serve. That's what ultimately is benefited by the decisions we make here. It's yes, pharmacies are in business, but the good news about that is they're serving people who need their care and attention. So thank you all. Here that are beneficial to pharmacists, but really beneficial to people that we all care about. Thank you all very much.